So just beginning by setting your posture, and as Preeti was saying, just bringing your attention to the transition that we're going to be making into this practice. So maybe starting off by feeling your feet making contact with the floor, or if you're in a cross-legged position, just, the feeling of you making contact with the surface that you're on. And then perhaps just doing a brief body scan and just seeing, how is your body feeling right now? Got to do those wonderful mindful movements and just checking in and noticing for places of tension or relaxation. And again, not looking to change anything, but just being aware of what's in this present moment. And then, as we often do, I invite you to take some long, slow breaths in your own time. And the reason we invite you to do this is because it actually activates the relaxation response of the body, and it helps get you ready to be able to fully participate in the practice. You can just experiment with making the exhalation longer than the inhalation. And as always, these practices are an invitation. It's an invitation, if it's more comfortable for you to have your eyes closed, to close your eyes. And if not so much, then you can, have a downward gaze or look at your hands. Just finding that which works for you, making this your practice. So if you haven't already done so, just allowing your breath to come back to its own natural rhythm. And we're going to actually start with noticing sounds. So I'm going to invite you to just allow yourself to be aware of sound and seeing if you can notice sounds without labeling them, just seeing what comes to your ears. So perhaps, depending on the situation you're in, you can hear sounds from outside. Perhaps you're hearing sounds that are close to you. And just noticing the quality of the sound. Is it continuous? Does it have spaces in between the sounds? Is it a high pitch or a low pitch? What's the tone? Seeing if you can have a sense of curiosity and interest in just how the sound reaches your ears. And then moving your attention to perhaps your feet making contact with the floor. So we're picking a very specific part of the body. If the feet doesn't work for you, see if you can pick something else. And just noticing the points of contact or pressure. Perhaps noticing any sensations of tingling or pulsation. Maybe moisture or dryness. Anything that comes to mind, as if you were a detective and you were shining the light of awareness on your feet. And allowing your feet to be the anchor for your attention. And you may notice, no matter what our anchor is, our mind may get drawn away to something else. Maybe you're focusing on your feet and you hear a sound. And nothing wrong has happened. That's the nature of the mind. The nature of the mind is to wander. The magic moment is when we bring our attention back to whatever was the anchor for our attention. So in this case, it's noticing the feeling of the feet making contact with the surface that they're on. Then we're going to do a bit of investigation of the breath. So seeing if you can find the place where the breath is most vivid for you. Where do you notice the breath most strongly? Perhaps it's the feeling of the breath going in the nostrils warm and coming out, coming in cool and coming out warm. Or the feeling of the breath going down the back of the throat. Perhaps it's the feeling of the chest expanding on an inhalation. And noticing that perhaps the sense of expansion is not only in the front body, in the chest, but it's also in the side body and in the back body. How the whole rib cage just moves with the breath. Maybe it's the feeling of the belly and then the abdomen expanding on the inhalation and deflating on an exhalation. Maybe for you it's the whole wave-like motion of the breath as it moves in and out of the body, and seeing if you can allow your attention to ride that wave of the breath like a surfboard. Maybe it helps to make a mental note of breathing in on an inhalation. Breathing out on an exhalation. And again, if you notice that your attention wanders to maybe a sound or a thought or another body sensation, nothing wrong has happened. The magic moment is when you notice and you bring your attention back to the anchor for your attention, which in this case is the feeling of the breath, most strongly wherever you find it in your body. So now just take a moment and allow yourself to choose one of those three, choosing the one that works best for you right now, allowing your attention to stay with the anchor that you've chosen. And again, if your attention wanders, nothing wrong has happened. Celebrate what you noticed. How cool is that? Let's take another moment. So in a moment, I'm going to sound the vibratone, and I invite you to follow the sound until you can no longer hear it, and then just open your eyes.